I'm Shelley Wade, and I am honored to be doing this Audacy Check In with the amazingly talented Cynthia Erivo.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
So, last time I saw you, I'm going to hold this up, this amazing lyric sheet for your new album, I Forgive You. So a couple of weeks ago, I was able to attend an album listening party where you sat on stage and you explained all your songs, your process, your recording process, the writing process, and then you would play the song for us. And it was just a wonderful experience.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed. Yeah.
So I Forgive You. I would love to just, start things off by asking you, how are you feeling right now about, this album is so vulnerable and you're basically putting yourself out there to the world.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling excited about being able to share a little bit more about myself. Obviously, there's trepidation because you never know what people will take from it, but there's nothing that I can necessarily control. I just know that I have been as honest as I possibly can, and I'm going to continue doing that, and hopefully people will be encouraged to do the same. Yeah.
Inside the lyric sheet, you said that 4 years ago with your debut album, you were scared.
Yeah.
But it was for a completely different reason from why you're scared now. You were scared originally because you didn't feel like you managed to put your entire vision on the album. Although it was a good album, you didn't put your entire vision.
Yeah.
And now with I Forgive You, not only did you manage to put your entire vision out there, but now you're scared because you're vulnerable.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call it scared. I think I'm just nervous. I think there is a nervousness or a sort of maybe a small worry about what people might garner from it and take from it. But I think I guess there's the smallest amount of fear that maybe a person might not necessarily see me the way I want someone to see me. But again, you can't control that. I think I'm really proud of what I've written, proud of what I managed to create this time, and I think I'm way less scared than I was the last time because now it feels like it's really mine,
Yeah, and so is there a way that you'd like for people to see you? I know, we all take from art what we take from it. But is there something you'd like for us to take from it?
I think I want people to understand that I'm as human and as fallible as everybody else, I think sometimes we project onto people what we want of them. So I think often the imperfections aren't necessarily what people want to see of me, but they're there, and they're what make me human. So I'm hoping people are welcoming of those things too.
I would agree with you. You come across as very confident. And so I guess a lot of people would be surprised that you have certain vulnerabilities.
Yeah,
but like you said, you're human.
When I'm singing, I'm very comfortable because that's a place that I sort of know very well, and I use it to connect, and I love doing it. But I don't think people realize that right before the moment that feels really confident, I'm nervous. And I spend the day trying to make sure I'm prepared and ready to be able to deliver something that I can be proud of. But again, as a human being, I have vulnerabilities. I have moments of quiet, and I think this is a moment for me to be able to share that with people.
Okay, so listen, I'm looking at your accomplishments. I see you're a Grammy Award winner, Emmy Award winner, Tony Award winner. 3-time Oscar nominee. Cynthia, you are an Oscar away from being an EGOT. Oh my God. How do you feel about that? And is that something that's a goal of yours?
I don't think it was a goal of mine at the beginning because I didn't even know it was possible. When I came to New York, the idea that I might even be nominated for a Tony was a totally foreign thing to me. It wasn't something that I thought was ever possible. And so to be in this position is wild and insane and wonderful. And is it a goal now? I don't necessarily think it is, but just because if that was the goal, then the work suffers, I think. I think the goal is to make sure I keep creating really good work. And if it happens to be celebrated, then that is the icing on the cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the new album is called I Forgive You. And oh my God, just listening to it. I mean, listening to it during the listening party was amazing, but also just listening to it On My Own, you have mentioned that you've been inspired by several artists like Enya. I got Enya vibe.
Yeah.
I got strong new age vibe from the album. I got strong R&B. You're a big Brandy fan.
That's right, yeah.
By the way, do you have a favorite Brandy song?
Never Say Never.
Really?
Yeah. And almost doesn't count, yeah.
Oh, do you remember the lyrics to any of those? Like, could I hear you sing?
Almost made you love me. Almost made you cry. Almost made you happy, baby. Didn't I? You almost had me thinking you would turn around. But everybody knows almost doesn't count.
Beautiful. What is it that you love about Brandy?
I think she's sort of a dichotomy for me. She has this duality in her voice. It has this rasp to it that you don't realize has all of that range. When you listen to her, you think there's no possible way that she can hit that top note out there, and she does with ease. And her prowess over harmony and the way she uses her voice to riff, the melodic choices that she makes, I just think are very, very specific to her, really individual. And I think the way she sees music, I think is very different to anyone else. And I think it's just inspiring. I think she has the most wonderful voice. I think it's beautiful.
Would you consider doing Almost Doesn't Count up for your next album?
Would I consider doing it? Yeah, if she lets me. I'll ask her.
Oh, you know she would let you.
I'll ask her. If she's up for it, I'd happily do it. I'd love to do it with her.
Oh,
I'd love to do a duet with her. Yeah.
A Cynthia Erivo Brandy duet.
I would
that is
do that
brilliant.
in a heartbeat. Yeah.
I am here for that.
Yeah.
There's a part in this, I'm sure it's probably in the album notes as well. But
yeah.
I'm wondering if you would mind reading. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? The part,
the forward.
I forgive you is for anyone, that part.
It says, I forgive you is for anyone who is just trying to figure it out. It's for the people who are hard on themselves all the time. It's for those who are in love, those who have fallen out of love, who are trying to find love in others or in themselves. I forgive you is meant to be a way for us to say 3 other hard words to ourselves, to someone else, only now you don't have to do it alone. I'll say it with you. I hope you enjoy. With all my love, Cynthia Erivo.
I absolutely love that. Forgiveness. Yeah. What made you name the album I Forgive You?
Because I think that we're not very good at doing it. And I think that when we go through things in our lives, we are either really hard on ourselves about them. We don't give ourselves the choice of letting them go. Mm-hmm. And we're not very good at giving that grace to other people when things have been done to us. Mm-hmm. And so when I had written it, I kept trying to figure out what I wanted to call it. And yes, there are love songs in it. There are songs about heartbreak. There are songs about loss. There are songs about finding love. There's songs about passion. But all of those things are human experiences that we sometimes sort of color with shame or guilt or those sort of harder feelings to deal with, and we don't necessarily look at them through eyes that are forgiving. Mm-hmm. And so when I finished writing the album and had sequenced it and put it in the right order and saw the story, I realized that actually the bigger overarching theme of all of it was, in the end, forgiveness for yourself if anything has happened, and for the things that you might have done that you haven't really let go of, or for the things that have happened to you that you haven't necessarily let go of. Yeah.
Yeah, to your point, forgiveness is it's a hard concept.
It is, yeah.
Sometimes you don't get the closure. Someone doesn't give you that closure. Yeah, so how do you forgive them?
Exactly.
And you always hear people say, I forgive them because it frees me up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then you were mentioning the concept of forgiving yourself, which is, we don't often think about that part.
At all. No, I think sometimes, even in our sort of everyday life, we will do things and just the little things, and we will be hard on ourselves for those small, tiny moments. And it's harder for us to say, actually, I'm going to let that go. It's okay. It's not that bad. And if it was, I've changed and I've grown from that moment, and it will serve me to let that moment go and to forgive myself for that one mistake that I made that moment, because that mistake actually aided in the growth and the elevation to who I am now,
Yeah.
So,
and you're human.
Yeah.
As we were mentioning
right.
earlier.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the album, I Forgive You. You broke it down into like 4 different
parts. Yeah, that's
parts.
right. Yeah,
Explain to us
chapters.
the different parts.
So the very first chapter, whatever you want to call it, is about loss, leaving something behind. The breakup. You can call it the breakup part if you want. The letting go of something, and all of those songs are sort of talking about the ending of a relationship, the ending of a time with someone or a time with yourself. It's like letting something come to a close. And the second part is when you find something new, when it becomes sort of passionate and it's fiery, and that can be in anything. I think we sort of like see it only in romantic relationships, but actually when you meet a new friend, you want to spend all of your time with that new friend, you know, or when you finally learn something new, you want to do that all the time. Or when you meet a new lover, it's that person. It becomes sort of all encompassing, and it consumes you, and that's what that moment is. Then that third part is when everything, I guess I like to say, when your feet touch the ground, when it becomes real, when everything sort of, it's not a haze anymore. It becomes back to reality. It's focused and intentional all of a sudden. So whether it's when you realize that it is love and it's not just passion, or that it is true friendship and it's lasting, or that you do want to continue with something and be more focused about it, that's what that moment is. It's coming to yourself, coming into yourself more. And that the fourth part is when you take a step away from it all and take a look back at all of it, and realize that where you are now is a result of all the things that you've had and experienced before. And so it's almost that is the moment, the letting go, the forgiveness, the allowing of what was to be where it is and to be in the present now.
And taking stock of the entire experience, beginning and end.
That's right.
And so one thing you shared with us during the listening party is that every single voice, with the exception of one, on the album, every sound, even the whistles, they are you.
That's right.
Did you just want it to be like this entirely personal thing that I'm doing the recording, or what made you decide to have all of the voices be you with the exception of the one?
I think I just wanted to see how much of myself vocally, musically I could give, because if I was giving of myself when it comes to vulnerability, and I was trying to tell my story and the stories that I've experienced, I also wanted it to feel that way when it came to the music, that you knew that it was a really personal journey, that you were hearing things that I was trying for the first time vocally, that you were hearing things that I was trying for the first time as a musician, that I wanted to explore, that I was also being vulnerable, not just in the speaking and the lyric of it, but in the music of it, in the way I used my voice, the way I used my body, when you use your nails and when you use the beating of your chest, or the whistle that I put on it, that you're actually getting a fully realized experience of who I am as a musician as well as a person.
I'm used to hearing your beautiful singing voice. I did not expect to be listening to the I Forgive You album and hear you bust a rhyme. I was not expecting that. Yeah. So this is on a song that was co-written.
Yeah.
And you, by the way, co-wrote and produced all of the songs on the album as well. You co-wrote it with Anthony Ramos.
Yeah.
From, of Hamilton and,
right?
and In the Heights fame.
In the Heights, yeah.
How did that collaboration come about?
I've known him for a while, and he just asked if he could come on, and we were writing it. This is like 4 years ago, and we had a little writing camp, just the two of us and a couple of friends, and he came up with this concept, and I loved the idea of writing something about the push and pull of romance, and like whether it's forbidden or not, and how consuming that can be, and how you could push away or not. And when we wrote it, we invited someone else on to sort of write this spoken part. And when I came back to it this time around, I thought actually the newer, more elevated version of it that made sense for this moment was for me to be able to speak those words myself. And I tried it first time and thought, I think this might work. And so I fully committed, and it ended up being something that people really like. So
Cynthia, you got skills.
Thank you.
You did a really great job on that rap.
Thank you.
One more question before we wrap it up. There's a
Yeah.
beautiful part on the album at the end.
Yeah.
You mentioned that all of the voices on the album
Yeah.
are yours, with the exception of one.
Yeah.
Would you share with everyone that beautiful story?
Yeah. So it comes at the end of a song called Grace. There's a young girl who I got to meet a while ago whilst we were doing the press run for Wicked, and she'd asked to see the movie. This is before it was out and finished and edited, but she got to see sort of an earlier version. She was terminally ill and had asked to see it, so they asked our permission, and I was sort of more than happy to, yes, please let her watch. This is not something you need to ask me permission for at all. And when she watched the movie, she sent us a really, really sweet message. It was like 3 minutes, and she just told us about what she thought about it and how she felt about it and who she loved and what she loved about the work. And she was really complimentary towards me. And I sent her a message back, a video back, to say thank you for sending that. And then she sent a video back. And then I sent another video back, and her family said these videos make her really happy and they bring her a lot of joy. So I said, well, if she ever wants to speak to me in real life, if you ever want to FaceTime, please let me know. I'll happily do that.
That was so sweet of you.
And so I was one day on the way to the studio to write another song, and her auntie had said, well, she's awake because she would sleep for long periods of time, and she was awake and she wanted to do a FaceTime. And so I said, yeah. So when I got to the studio, I FaceTimed, I sort of took some time out and FaceTimed her then, and we had this long conversation, 20 minutes, which for her is like 2 hours. And she, was very, very tired a lot of the time. So to be able to be up for that amount of time was unheard of. And at the end of that conversation, I went back to the studio and thought, what do I want to write about at this point? And the idea of writing about the goodbyes that sort of leave you with joy, and you looking again, it's the looking back on the time that you've had with something or someone, and now you're having to leave it behind, but you're not leaving it behind with sadness. You leave it with joy because of what they bring, and that's when the song Grace was written. And I knew that I wanted to finish the album with a voice, and I went back to the video that she had sent me and some of the words that she had said to me, and realized that those are the words that I wanted everyone else to hear for themselves as well. And one of the last things she says is, I feel you, I love everything you did, and I love you. And I thought that was just a really perfect way to end this particular journey, to hear someone say, I love you, and you did good. Yeah.
It was a beautiful part of the song and a beautiful way to end the album. Yeah. And listen, the album to me is art.
Thank you.
From the gorgeous cover.
Thank you.
I mean, that cover with you, again, speaking of vulnerability, you stripped of everything except those stilettos and those wings.
Yeah.
Beautiful album cover.
Thank you.
Beautiful music, beautiful singing and rapping.
Thank you.
Cynthia Erivo, we appreciate you stopping by our Audacy Check In. You guys check out the album. It's called I Forgive You. I promise you're going to love it. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you, Shelley.